And away we go. It is the Nightcap, brought to you by Hail Mary Sports Bar right here on BearcatJournal.com. Get out to Cheviot, Harrison Avenue. They're in the Dora District. Go see our good friends at Hail Mary's. You can walk from bar to bar with your drinks. But why would you do that when you can just hang out at Hail Mary's? They have 27 TVs, a 9-screen video wall. There's not a bad seat in the house. They subscribe to every sports package that DirecTV offers. They can stream all the games, and Cincinnati sports will always be on the video wall. Brand new walk-in cooler, brand new draft lines, and not only do they pour the coldest Cincy Light around, but they do so in 32.8 degree beer frosted glasses. Maybe if you excuse me, maybe if you don't have CBS Sportsnet, Hail Mary's is the spot for you tomorrow night as you watch the Bearcats take on Kansas State. All right, Aaron, let's get to it. It is officially Big 12 basketball season starting tomorrow night. We have 8 teams, 4 games on the slate tomorrow, another 8 teams, another 4 games on the slate for Tuesday. So it is time to get rolling in the Big 12. And crazy enough, Aaron, it's all of the top 8 teams against all of the 8 bottom teams coming into week 1 or game 1 for everybody in the Big 12. The Cincinnati game against Kansas State is the closest point spread wise. That's 3.5. As Brent mentioned in the BBP, the next closest is double digits. So this one's going to be a challenge. We getting to 15 minutes is going to take some work on this one as we start looking at week 1 in the Big 12. That first game, Cincinnati, Kansas State, we're not going to do a 3 keys pod for this one, just timing wise, but we will talk about it here in this segment, mainly because we need content and we gotta talk about something. So I do think this is dangerous. I think Kansas State is talented. They are not one of the teams. I think there's some teams in the bottom of this league that just aren't near as talented as the teams at the top. But this is a game Cincinnati needs to win, Aaron. Kansas State has not beaten a team in the top 100. They are 6-5. They have been a disappointment. You have to be careful because they are going to look at this as a new opportunity, a chance to put the non-conference behind them and start playing more commiserate to their talent level, which should be top half of the Big 12. They just haven't performed like it. In fact, the metrics say, the net says they're the last team in the Big 12. I think RPI, they're 15th out of 16. This is a tricky spot for Wes Miller and his team.
Well, Kansas State wants to reset the season at 6-5, whereas I think especially the remaining players here from last year, the holdover players from last year's team, if you will, I think they want a reset as well, because I don't think last year went conference-wise the way that they wanted it to go. And
yeah, but I don't know that really necessarily, like, he's not going to go into the locker room before the game and be like, we were 7-11 in the Big 12 last year. Let's go get them this. Like, I don't know that necessarily.
No, but I think you have an opportunity as a team that is ranked, a team that's number 17, and has been chastised by many national people for playing a soft non-conference schedule. You've got a chance to go out and prove yourself to the nation, to the naysayers, and to the rest of the conference. So you've got a real opportunity here to kind of put your stamp on conference play. And so I think both teams are kind of looking for a reset, just for very different reasons.
Yeah, and obviously for Cincinnati, given what is coming up, Arizona, Baylor, Kansas, you need to get out to a good start here. Like, you need to get this one on the road and give you one in your back pocket against a team you should beat. But again, 3.5, like the metrics say, this is going to be a game that's probably going to be nip and tuck. I think it comes down to perimeter shooting. This is not a good Kansas State defense. They give up a lot of good, clean looks from 3. Cincinnati has been getting a lot of good, clean looks from 3. They haven't been making them at a high enough clip. If you're going to win this game, I think you need to shoot it pretty well.
ESPN's analytics and the matchup predictor gives Cincinnati a 74.1% chance to win this game, nowhere near as close as what Vegas says. It should be, if for nothing else, it should be a very entertaining game. But obviously, I think I speak for both of us when I say we want the good guys on top.
Yeah, I don't want to do an aftermath tomorrow night talking about 0-1 in the Big 12 with Arizona, Baylor, and Kansas on deck
against a 6-5 Kansas State team.
Yeah. 8:00 tomorrow night on ESPN Plus. Houston at Oklahoma State. Houston favored by 12.5. The total is 137.5. No chance this goes over unless Houston scores 80. I don't see any way this one gets over. Their defense is still very, very good. Oklahoma State got some work to do. I think Houston covers. I think it goes under.
Oklahoma State's kind of in a rebuild from last season still, trying to figure out.
When they were rebuilding and then they ran off their 3 really talented freshmen. Smart.
Trying to figure out who they are. 8-3, they're certainly figuring it out in the non-conference, but a lot of that was bye games. I don't think they stand a chance, if I'm being completely honest, against LJ Cryer and company. This one, 12.5 is a lot, but I think Houston covers.
Just for context, Aaron, Oklahoma State is second to last in the Big 12 in offensive efficiency. They're 124th. The only team worse is TCU at 178. And they are the worst team in defensive efficiency at 107. The next closest to them, I think, is Kansas State at 93. Houston, number 1 in defense at 3rd, and second in offense at 11. So the worst team in the league against the best team in the league in terms of the metrics. Speaking of bad metrics, TCU takes on Arizona. Arizona is 6-5. But they are still pretty highly regarded in KenPom at 24, 31st on offense, 22nd on defense. TCU, as we mentioned, dreadful on offense, 178, but pretty good defensively at 18. That's a big number. 15.5 for Arizona.
It is a big number there.
TCU's defense keeps it close enough to cover. I think.
Yeah. I mean, who would you say is Arizona's bad loss? You're looking at Wisconsin, unranked at the time. You look Duke. You got West Virginia, Oklahoma, not in that order. And then UCLA. So,
yeah.
I don't know. Arizona, I think if you're looking at the metrics, if you're looking at all signs point to Arizona winning this game. That said, 15.5. If TCU's offensive efficiency is that bad,
it's understandable.
Give me Arizona and the 15.5. They'll cover.
Okay, that's a lot to lay. The second closest spread in the Big 12 in these next 2 days to open conference play. Iowa State at Colorado. Iowa State a 10.5 favorite. They did play early in the year. Iowa State won by 28. Total of 147.5. I'll let you go with this one. You like, at some point this year, you like Colorado to beat Iowa State. Is it tomorrow night?
You probably got your best chance at home, right? So I don't know. 10.5 is not a ton of respect for the number 3 team in the country, if we're being honest.
It's not.
So
especially a team that you beat by almost 30 already.
I don't know that I'd hit the money line, if I'm being honest, but I think I would take Colorado on the points.
It's going to be interesting to see how Iowa State handles, like with Otzelberger, they've always been kind of this plucky upstart. You know what I mean? Like they've been good, but they've surprised people. Now you're third in the country. Like the target is massive, and you've already beaten this team once. I think it's close for 30 minutes. I think Iowa State pulls away. So I'll lay the points, but I do think Colorado gives them a much better fight than we saw in Maui.
Colorado's top 3 scorers all average double digits. They're all seniors, so they've got a lot of experience. So we'll see.
I do like Julian Hammond for Colorado. I think he's pretty good. So if he scored, I think 20 in the first meeting. So they're gonna have to stop him if Iowa State's gonna pull away. Tuesday, we got daytime ball, Aaron. Daytime ball on Tuesday, 2 p.m. ESPN Plus, West Virginia, Kansas. No line out for that one yet, but let's see. Ken Pom is predicting 76-66, so a 10-point Kansas win over West Virginia. We don't know the status of Tucker DeVries, if he is going to be back. If he is not back, that's a big blow for West Virginia.
Tough sledding. Right now, Kansas is given an 85.9% chance to win this game, according to ESPN Analytics and their matchup predictor. 10 points. If you're telling me DeVries is out, if things as we don't know, I'm saying Kansas. It's easy over 10.
This one outside of Cincinnati, Kansas State might be the most interesting to me of the games this weekend or this week.
Sure.
Utah at Baylor, 2:00, also on ESPN Plus. Baylor, outstanding offensively, not great defensively. They are 84th in Ken Pom in defensive efficiency. Utah is a team that likes to just bomb away from 3. The Madsen twins are going to shoot 20 of them combined. If Utah gets hot, they can beat Baylor. I don't think they will, but I think they can. And let's see. Another 10-point prediction from Ken Pom, 83-73. Baylor is the Ken Pom line.
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be rooting against the Madsen twins all season just for fun, largely because they look like they probably should have committed to Utah from the jump. That all said,
I don't think either of them are Mormon, but not that Utah's Mormon. BYU's the Mormon school.
Wouldn't know it looking at Gabe. That all said, 18.8 is what Gabe averages. Yeah, I think Baylor has a little more firepower than 2 twins launching up threes. And it's just completely unaesthetic ball for me. It's what the NBA has become, just chucking threes every possession. Get it out of here. Give me Baylor.
Next up, also at 2 p.m., the trio of 2 p.m. games on ESPN Plus. Going to spread those out a little bit for us avid Big 12 basketball watchers. But UCF at Texas Tech. What does Ken Pom say on this one? They say kind of a blowout, 81-68, 88% chance that Texas Tech wins. I think Texas Tech is better. That's a big number. I mean, 13.5, 14 would be the line probably.
I'm not touching that. Texas Tech, though. Yeah, I'm not touching that. I'd probably take Texas Tech, but if UCF jumps up and steals this one, I won't be surprised. I think that they do have an opportunity to be a dark horse team because they will win some games they should not have any business winning, and they will lose some games that they definitely should not have lost.
Here's the big difference for that, Aaron. I think typically the reason I think they've been able to do that is because their defense has typically been like a top 20 level defense. So they have been able to grind you into some rock fights and then manage to win by 1. Their defense is 70 this year coming into Big 12. So
do you recall how good it was going into conference play last year, though, for them?
I think it was top 15, top 20. Like they had a top 15 defense. I remember we talked about that both times Cincinnati played them, that, their defense might be able to grind Cincinnati to a halt. Let's see. Hold on real quick. Where did they end up last year?
Their top scorer, while you're looking that up, Jordan Ivy Curry averaging 16.3 for UCF. Darian Williams on the other side, though, for Texas Tech, he is their top scorer at 16.5. So
they ended up at 21 defensively last year. This year they're at 70. I don't think they're going to be able to like ugly it up if you're playing, average at best defense.
And last year they'd have games where they just go off for 100, even though they were their offensive efficiency was dreadful last year.
Yeah.
Even when they went off for 100, none of it made sense.
And then finally, this should be a fun game. Arizona State in Provo at BYU. 4:00 tip-off on ESPN2. BYU is at 42 in KenPom. Arizona State is at 55. So BYU does it with offense, 29th on offensive efficiency, 74th in defense. Arizona State flips it, 72nd offense, but 46th defense. The predictor says 6-point game, 78-72. BYU wins. Tempted to go with the upset here.
I was going to say there's so much big, like even the ESPN analytics say 79.4. No one's given a shot to any of these teams. It looks like chalk would almost be the way to bet on all of this, but we all have watched enough basketball to know that it's not going to go straight chalk 2 days in a row for all of these teams that are heavily favored without having seen many of these teams play anybody worth a shit. So I don't know. I'm with you. I wouldn't be surprised to see Arizona State as far as that goes. But I'll say BYU. I would just money line.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, if the line's 5.5, 6. I don't know. I think I'm gonna go Arizona State. I think Arizona State gets the upset. We saw BYU fumble the bag in their opener last year. This is, Arizona State's kind of riding a high as a university. I think maybe they get win number 1 for Bobby Hurley.
Maybe you just continue on the momentum that the football team had against Colorado. My goodness.
Yeah. All right, we got 18 minutes out of that. That's pretty good. Basketball season. We'll get you up to speed as the weeks go by. By week 3, you'll be ready to go.
Oh, I'll be fine. Yeah.
All right, that's going to wrap it up. We will see you for the aftermath tomorrow as the Bearcats take on Kansas State in the Little Apple. 7:00 tip-off. Aaron and I will be live shortly after the conclusion. That's the aftermath, brought to you by Hail Mary Sports Bar, live from the Cincy Light Studios, right here on BearcatJournal.com.
See ya!